Today I am going to discuss Davison and Germer experiment. Davison and Germer experiment, it was the first experiment which proved the wave nature of particle, that is wave nature of electron. It was the first experiment which proved de Broglie hypothesis. De Broglie hypothesis was that particle has dual nature, matter as well as wave. And Davison and Germer experimentally proved that electron has dual nature. The experimental setup of Davison and Germer experiment, now I am going to draw it. This is first I am making it here. It is a filament. It is a filament denoted by F. It is heated with the help of a low tension battery, means it is a low powerful battery. ये कम पावर की बैटरी होती है, लो टेंशन बैटरी. इट इज कनेक्टेड टू अ फिलामेंट. Filament is heated with the help of low tension battery. Electrons are emitted from the filament. Electrons are emitted from the filament. Now, the electrons emitted from the filament are restricted with the help of two directing slits. Here I am making two directing slits, namely we can write either D1, D2, S1, S2, D1 and D2. These are two directing slits which restrict the electron beam along a straight line. This is a filament which is heated with the help of low tension battery. Electrons are emitted from the filament. Electrons are emitted from the filament. These electrons are restricted along a straight line with the help of two directing slits, D1 and D2. These are directing slits. These electrons, when passed through the slits along a fine beam, these are attracted by an aluminium cylinder, hollow aluminium cylinder. It is a hollow aluminium cylinder A. Here A is aluminium cylinder. It is hollow aluminium cylinder A. It is connected to a positive terminal of a high tension battery. The aluminium cylinder A, it is connected to the positive terminal of a variable high tension battery. Variable high tension battery. It is, the arrow is showing it is a variable, and the positive terminal, it is positive terminal. Aluminium A is connected, the hollow aluminium cylinder A is connected to the positive terminal of high tension battery. It is denoted by HT. Now again, this is the filament which is heated with the help of low tension battery. Electrons are emitted from the filament. These electrons are restricted to a fine beam with the help of directing slits D1 and D2. The fine beam of electron is attracted by a hollow aluminium cylinder A. It is a metallic hollow aluminium cylinder A which is connected to the positive terminal of a high tension battery. As a result, the electron beam, it will be attracted by this positive aluminium cylinder, and its speed will increase as the potential of the high tension battery will increase. We know that here I am writing this expression, half mv square, it is equals to ev, or v equals to under root 2 ev over m. As the potential of high tension battery will be increases, the velocity of the electrons will be increases gradually accordingly as the potential will increase. Now the electron beam, this is accelerated electron beam, when passes through hollow aluminium cylinder. Here hollow aluminium cylinder, this after passing through hollow aluminium cylinder, it falls on a nickel crystal. It falls on a nickel crystal which is denoted by N and is a nickel crystal. This nickel crystal can be rotated with the help of a handle H. This nickel crystal can be rotated with the help of a handle H. Now this electron, accelerated electron beam incident upon the nickel crystal N, and this nickel crystal can be rotated with the help of handle H. The accelerated electron beam when incident upon the nickel crystal, it is scattered. This is a scattered electron beam. The scattered electron beam falls on a graduated circular scale S. It is a graduated circular scale S. A Faraday collector, which is placed over the graduated circular scale, a Faraday collector which is placed over the graduated circular scale collects the electron beam. This is the Faraday collector which collects the scattered electron beam. Now this is the Faraday collector. It has two layers. Faraday collector, it is C is Faraday collector. This is a circular scale S. This is the Faraday collector. It has two layers. This is inner one and this is outer one. A slightly negative potential is given to the outer layer of the Faraday collector. It is a metallic collector. Faraday collector is metallic collector. It has two layers, inner and outer. A negative potential is given to the outer surface of the Faraday collector. Why the negative potential is given? I will explain you later. And this Faraday collector is connected to a galvanometer which records all the electrons collected by the Faraday collector. This is the experimental setup of Davidson and Germer experiment. This is the experimental setup of the Davidson and Germer experiment which prove the wave nature of electron. Again, I am repeating this. This is the filament which is heated with the help of a low tension battery. Electrons are emitted from the filament. These electron beam is restricted along a straight line with the help of directing slits D1 and D2. This electron beam passes through an hollow aluminium cylinder A. The electron beam passes through hollow aluminium cylinder A, which is connected to the high tension positive terminal of high tension battery. Now, it means the aluminium cylinder A is at positive potential. The electron beam will be attracted by the hollow aluminium cylinder. This electron beam, accelerated electron beam, incident upon the nickel crystal. Nickel crystal can be rotated with the help of handle H like this. The nickel crystal can be rotated with the help of handle H. As a result, the electron beam is scattered in different directions. Now, when the electron beam incident upon the nickel crystal, it is scattered. The scattered electron beam is collected by the Faraday collector C. Faraday collector has two layers, inner and outer. The outer layer is given slightly negative potential to avoid the secondary emission. Means when a fast moving electron will incident upon the metal, it may be possible that electrons from this metallic surface may be emitted. Means secondary electrons may be emitted. When a fast moving electron incident upon a surface, metallic surface, electron may be emitted from that surface. This is secondary emission. In order to avoid secondary emission, slightly negative potential is given to the outer surface of the Faraday collector C. Faraday collector is placed over a graduated circular scale. It is marked here. It is a graduated circular scale. Faraday collector can be slided over the Faraday collector can be slided over the circular scale S. The Faraday collector can collect only the electrons which are incident at an angle between theta greater than 20 degree and less than 90 degree. Means Faraday collector can collect only those electrons which are incident at an angle between 20 degree and 90 degree. Other electrons it will be not received by the Faraday collector. Now this is the experimental setup. What happened in this? when the positive potential of the high tension battery was gradually increased. When the positive potential of the high tension battery was gradually increased, Davison and Germer found that the current, means this is the electron beam collected by the Faraday collector. It is showing that the current, it will be noted by the galvanometer. Intensity of the electron beam, we have written in the notes, that is intensity of the electron beam. Intensity of the electron beam means number of electrons incident per unit area per unit time. We may call it current also. When the potential of the high tension battery was gradually increased by Davison and Germer, they found that with the increase in the potential, the intensity of the electron beam gradually increases. That is, when we have increased the potential of high tension battery from 0 onwards, if they have seen, Davison and Germer seen that the intensity of electron beam increases. That is, we may call it current also. Intensity of electron beam increases with the increase in potential up to a particular potential. It was 44 volt. When the applied potential was 44 volt, when the potential of the high tension battery was 44 volt, up to 44 volt, the intensity of the electron beam and the intensity of electron beam increases linearly with the potential. But at 44 volt, when the potential of the high tension battery becomes 44 volt, Davison and Germer saw that a bump appears at 44 volt. Davison and Germer saw that at 44 volt a bump appears. Bump, it is a sudden change like this, a wave like change we may call it, because we know that a wave, the curve of a wave travels like this. This is, if we will see it, this is a bump like behavior. At 44 volt, when the applied potential was 44 volt, the curve between intensity of electron beam and the potential up to 44 volt, it was almost linear. Up to 44 volt, it was almost linear. But at 44 volt, this Davison and Germer found that there was a sudden bump appears at 44 volt. This bump increases with the increase in potential. Means at 44 volt, the bump was like this, and with the increase in potential, the bump increases. With the increase in potential, the bump increases. At 48 volt, it becomes more deeper, and at 54 volt, the bump becomes most prominent. When the applied potential of the high tension battery was 54 volt, the bump appears most prominent, and at an angle, when the angle was 50 degree and the applied potential was 54 volt, the bump becomes most prominent. It means at 54 volt, other curves I have already provided you in the notes. I am showing only at the 54 volt. When the applied potential was 54 volt, the bump becomes most prominent at 54 volt, and the angle between the incident and the scattered ray, it was 50 degree. At this potential, at 54 volt, the bump was most prominent. Now, after increasing this potential, again, when the increases the potential of high tension battery, the bump gradually decreases and it disappears at 68 volt. All these curves are already provided in the notes. Now I will discuss only the bump which was most prominent at 54 volt and angle was 50 degree. At this particular potential, they found, Davison and Germer found the wavelength of electron by considering it as a particle and by considering it as a wave. Means when the bump was most prominent. The bump has appearance like this. If we will see it, it is more or less like a wave-like behavior here. That's why they considered only when the bump was most prominent, that is at 54 volt, the bump was most prominent at that potential, at that particular potential. Davison and Germer found the wavelength of electron by considering it as a particle and as well as wave by using de Broglie formula. De Broglie wavelength of electron, that is de Broglie wavelength of electron means considering electron as a particle. At this time when the applied potential was 54 volt, Davison and Germer found the wavelength of electron, electron means particle, the wavelength of electron by by considering it particle and uses de Broglie wavelength of an electron. The formula for de Broglie wavelength is lambda equals to 12.27 over root V angstrom. When the potential they have used 54 volt, 12.27 over root 54 angstrom, it was 1.66, that is about 1.67 angstrom. When they considered electron as a particle, that is electron as a particle, the wavelength was 1.67 angstrom. This is the wavelength of electron when the potential was 54 volt. At the same time when they considered it as a particle, Davison and Germer considered as a particle, they found the wavelength of electron was this. At the same time they found the wavelength of electron by considering it as a wave. By considering it as a wave means a formula which is not in class 12, that is Bragg's equation, WL Bragg's. There is a Bragg's equation for X-ray diffraction. There is an equation, that is Bragg's equation, WL Bragg's. It is Bragg's X-ray diffraction, that is X-ray by considering it as a wave. Davison and Germer found the wavelength of electron by considering it as a wave. They used the formula for the formula of Bragg's equation, WL Bragg's equation. Bragg's equation is 2D sine theta equals to n lambda. This is the Bragg's equation. It is used for the wave. This is Bragg's equation and is used for the wave. Davison and Germer found the wavelength of electron. Davison and Germer found the wavelength of electron by considering it as a wave. Means they found the wavelength of electron by using this formula. In this formula, D is the interplanar spacing. In this formula, D is interplanar spacing. For nickel crystal, the interplanar spacing D is 0.91 angstrom. For nickel crystal, the interplanar spacing is 0.91 angstrom. And here theta is, it is called Grazing incidence. Theta is Grazing incidence, also known as mirror-like incidence. Grazing incidence or mirror-like incidence. Now I will explain you what is Grazing incidence or the mirror-like incidence. Suppose this is a reflecting surface. This is a reflecting surface. A wave is incident upon, or a particle is incident upon this surface. This is a reflecting surface. A wave is incident upon it. At an angle, suppose the angle of incidence. To find the angle of incidence, we will draw a normal to it. This is the angle of incidence, and the angle formed with the horizontal. This is the Grazing incidence. This is the Grazing incidence. In this equation, 2D sine theta equals to n lambda. This is Bragg's equation. In this, D is interplanar spacing. For nickel crystal, interplanar spacing is 0.91 angstrom. It is experimentally noted. And theta is Grazing incidence. What will be the Grazing incidence? Here in this figure, this is the incident ray, this is the reflected ray. But if we will consider electron as a ray, electron as a wave, this is the incident wave, this is the reflected wave. The angle between the incident and reflected wave was 50 degree when the bump was most prominent. When the bump was most prominent, the angle between incident and the reflected beam was 50 degree. That is, in this figure, this is this is the incident beam and this is the reflected beam. The angle between these two is 50 degree. If I will draw a normal to this surface, it will be 25 degree and it will be 25. Incident angle will be 25 degree and angle of reflection will be 25 degree. What will be the grazing incident? It will be the grazing incident. It will be 65 degree. For in this formula, 2d sin theta, theta is grazing incident, grazing incidence, and 2d in place of d I will write 0.91 angstrom because interplanar spacing for nickel crystal is 0.91 angstrom. Sin theta, in place of sin theta I will write theta equals to 65 degree. For n equals to 1, first order, n is the order of reflection. For first order reflection, for n equals to 1, first order reflection, for n equals to 1, lambda, the wavelength calculated was lambda equals to 1.65 angstrom. It is almost near to a 1.66. This is the wavelength. This is the wavelength of electron when they considered, Davison and Germer considered electron as a wave, and they use the formula 2d sin theta equals to n lambda. This is the wave equation. In this equation, d is interplanar spacing, which is 0.91, theta is grazing incidence, which is 65 degree, 2d sin 65 degree for first order reflection, lambda equal to this much. Thus, by considering electron as a particle, Davison and Germer found the wavelength of electron. The wavelength of electron was 12.27 over root V, means for 54 volt. This angstrom, it was 1.66, about 1.67 I have written here. Lambda equals to 1.67 angstrom. This is the wavelength of electron by considering it particle. This is the wavelength of electron by considering it as a wave. Thus, in both the cases, that is electron as a particle and electron as a wave, the wavelength of the electron is same. Hence they concluded, Davison and Germer concluded that electron has dual nature. Why electron has dual nature? Because by considering electron as a wave and electron as a particle at the same time, when the applied potential was 54 volt and the angle of and the angle between incident and reflected beam was 50 degree. At this time, at the same time, they considered electron as a particle and at the same time they considered electron as a wave. In both cases they found the wavelength same, and finally they concluded that electron has dual nature. It was the first experiment which proves de Broglie hypothesis. I think it is clear to you. If any confusion, then write to it by message.